Good evening. We welcome you from wherever you are watching us on TV3. This is News 360. My name is Hisa Moni.
And I am Solace Rose Quarte. Now a look at the headlines for this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray.
Coming up tonight, government to set up committee to investigate the killing of 7 suspected armed robbers by the police.
And Kente weavers at Kwabere in the Ashanti region crave for a yarn factory to reduce costs of producing the traditional cloth.
And on Mission tonight, Poor Road Network militate against efforts at speeding up development in Nadoli Kaleo district of the Upper West region.
In sports, boxing legend Azuma Nelson on it.
And on the foreign front, gunmen in South Africa kill 11 taxi drivers in an ambush.
Right, the news is live on channel 279 on DSTV. You can also follow us on 3news.com. Now let's turn to the details. Government is to set up a 5-member committee to investigate the killing of 7 suspected armed robbers by the police in the Ashanti region. Inner City and Zongo Development Minister Alhaji Abubakar Siddiq Boniface made this known after meeting with families of the deceased in Kumasi. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
Inner City and Zongo Community Minister Alhaji Abubakar Siddiq Boniface held meetings with leadership of the Zongo community as part of measures to restore peace and order at Asawase and the entire Asokore Mampong municipality. He commiserated with the youth over the death of their colleagues and pleaded with them to allow due process to prevail to ensure peace. The minister has hinted of the constitution of an independent committee to investigate the matter.
I believe this independent committee will be without the police because of the police involvement in the whole matter. It is only the investigative team that will be able to establish whether they were genuine children we had or they were robbers, and whether the results as quickly as possible.
The minister reiterated government resolve to ensure there is a lasting solution to the matter. He called on the entire Zongo community to be patient since the Islamic religion itself stands for peace. Some youth in the Asawase constituency earlier this week staged violent protests in reaction to the killing of 7 young men in the area. They insisted the young men were not armed robbers, as the police claimed in 8 reports. The police announced on Tuesday that 7 out of the 8 suspected robbers, whose attack reportedly led to the death of a police officer with a SWAT unit of the Ashanti Regional Police Command, had been gunned down after a gun battle. But families of some of the deceased persons have disputed the claims by the police. The 5-member independent committee would comprise of a renowned Muslim cleric, a clergy from the Christian religion, an independent investigator, a conflict resolution expert, and 1 other person.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo says recommendations by the 5-member committee will be swiftly implemented to promote peace. He gave the assurance at Savelugu in the northern region when he cut the sword for a factory for the district.
Savelugu, now, if we're talking about peace in Dagmon and in Savelugu, we have also to think about peace in our nation. Recently, events have occurred at the instigation of the police that disturbed the peace of our country. I've already spoken about what took place at the Midland Loans and Savings Bank in East Legon in Accra. The other day, too, a tragedy occurred in Asawase. We're establishing a committee of inquiry to look into those events and make recommendations as to the way forward. I want to assure the country that the recommendations that will come from the committee will be ones that will be scrupulously implemented and enforced by the government to make sure that incidents like that never happen again.
President Akufo-Addo has cut short for the construction of a 25.7-kilometer Nasia Janga road in the West Mamprusi district in the northern region. The 26 million city project is expected to be completed by July 2020.
The road project would serve Nakwaya, Zualugu, Alavanyo, Sokore, Fio number 1 and 2, Fungu, Soba, Tia, Salugu, and Cham communities. President Akufo-Addo expressed confidence the project would boost the production of staples such as rice, maize, soya beans, cowpeas, and sorghum, for which the West Mamprusi district is noted for. This, he added, will help realize government vision of ensuring self-sufficiency in the production of staples in the country, and also help ensure that Ghana becomes a net exporter of food and other agricultural produce. On the proposed creation of the Northeast region, the president noted that at least 50% of persons entitled to vote must vote in each of the different referenda, of which at least 80% must be cast in favor of the creation of a region for the demand to be met.
The creation of the Northeast region is taking place at a very good time in the history of Mamprugu. For the first time for many years, there is complete peace in the Mamprugu traditional area. The conflict in Mamprugu has come to an end with the support of the Nairi and the intervention of the chiefs. There is now complete peace and calm in the Mamprugu area. We want the same peace and calm all over Ghana so that we can get on with the process of rapid social and economic development. 60 years after independence, we're not where we should be. The time has come for us to move to where we should be. And under Akufo-Addo's government, we're going to move right there.
Meanwhile, the president has assured the people of Nalerigu, Gambaga and Walewale, all in the Mamprugu district, that the provision of an improved water system for Nalerigu, Gambaga and Walewale would commence in September. He gave the assurance at a Deba at Nalerigu as part of his northern region tour.
President Akufo-Addo said the construction of the water system is in fulfillment of the pledge he made to the people last year. On his tour of the northern region last year, President Akufo-Addo told the Nairi and the people of Mamprugu that his government was in the process of securing a $45 million facility from the World Bank to provide water in rural areas for 6 regions, of which Mamprugu would be a beneficiary.
The improved water system in Nalerigu, Gambaga and Walewale will start in September this year, 2 months from now. 35,000 gallons each will be added to the system in each of the 3 towns. And also new boreholes are going to be drilled to add more water. All the pipelines are going to be replaced so that we can bring water to all households. And with the beginning of the work in September, Mamprugu will definitely get an improved water system.
President Akufo-Addo assured them of an end to the erratic power supply in the area. On the ongoing electrification project, the president assured residents of East Mamprugu of 80 out of the 434 earmarked in the region.
Now go to Kwabre in the Ashanti region, where Kente weavers won the establishment of a yarn factory to reduce the cost of producing the traditional cloth. They made the request ahead of the Maiden Kwabre Armenia Festival intended to boost trade and promote tourism in the district. It's a report by Beatrice Piogabra.
The Kwabre enclave, bordering Boire, Adamumase and Ebira, is noted for the weaving of kente and other Edinkra cloth. Although the weaving demands a lot of skill, both the young and old are into kente weaving, with most households owning a loom for production. Trading in kente is very lucrative, generating employment for the youth in some communities. prices of kente are relatively cheaper here, although the weavers and traders say it could be far cheaper if the yarns are produced locally. The weavers depend on imported yarns from China, and this, they say, affects the price of the kente cloth.
Especially the trade. It's an imported goods that they imported from China. They put the taxes high on it. So it's affecting the kente business. But when the dollars come down, they can reduce it.
The municipal chief executive for Kwabre East, Nanaose Sibe Buntu, says the assembly is pushing for the establishment of a yarn factory under the government's One District, One Factory initiative.
Kente, and then we have this wood carving at Ega, and then beads making at Dumanafo. So we decided that we bring all these crafts together, which will be celebrated annually, so that we let people know what we can produce. That one will bring more tourists to Kwabre.
First ever Kwabre Arini Festival will help stimulate both domestic and international tourism while generating income for craftsmen in the municipality.
Now, away from that, some nurses wear ordinary clothes to and from work, while others stick to their official uniforms. Kwabena Edujemfi has been finding out the rationale behind the trend.
It's 2 p.m. on a Friday. Nurses at all government hospitals are either about to close or start work. After approaching some of them, I was told nurses in Mufti always have their uniforms to change once they enter the hospital.
So what is their motivation for wearing their uniforms in public places? Is it to attract attention or to prove that they are associated to the noble profession?
We are not actually supposed to wear the uniform and walk in town, buy stuff. So probably they want to buy some other things, they want to go to the market or something. So then what they do is then they have to change, or probably they are going somewhere.
I choose to put on my house attire because I think there are infections on the ward and I don't want to carry that to the house.
Probably I'm late or something. I wouldn't want to come and change before I go to work, so I'll just wear it from the house.
President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association, Kweku Asante Krobia, explained, though not a written policy, it is always advisable for nurses to wear their uniforms only when they are carrying out their duties.
In our parlance, we call it a nosocomial infection. The likelihood that you pick this infection from the ward and you can take it to the public, where probably you have finished work, you're going home and you sit in a trotro or taxi. That one you can transfer to members of the public, and that is why I'm saying it makes a lot of sense to say that you may have to put it off you when you finish work in the ward. And so whilst the nurse goes into her apron and even the cap that is wearing, it's supposed to take away a considerable amount of infection-causing agents.
But our checks in some hospitals showed that not all nurses even wear their aprons and caps when on duty. Mrs. Benedicta Kisi practiced for 45 years as a general nurse and a midwife, both in and outside Ghana, and currently runs her own private hospital in Accra. She explained lack of strict supervision on the part of nurses' managers has resulted in this practice.
So if the matron is strict, you know that when you finish work, you have to change your uniforms before you go. And they have some people who are elderlies who take care of the uniforms for us. You never take them home. You wash them in the hospital because the hospital has a laundry like Kolebu. Formally, all nurses have their linen bag that you can send your bag to the laundry in the Kolebu, and after some time you go and collect it.
The GRNMA president admitted the practice has worked better in hospitals where there are enough changing rooms and lockers. and nurses are encountered admitted there are enough lockers in their various hospitals to enable them keep their healthcare attire at the hospital, but this particular nurse would simply not change for personal reasons.
I think it's hectic for me, like having to change, and I don't have that time. Because I wear my uniform from home, that's why I sew this one, to protect the uniform.
So far, there are no statistics to prove how nurses have over the years transferred any form of bacteria to the public, but Kweku Asante Krobia says this is a worrying trend which should be prevented. Kwabena Edu Jemfi, TV3.
Don't know if the public should be worried about nurses who wear their uniforms in town. Let's move on to other stories. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Amewu, has warned mining companies against depleting the country's resources without proportional benefits. According to him, even though government is ready to provide the right operating climate, no work would be allowed without equal revenue in return.
The minister was speaking at the Ghana Manganese Company in Nsuta in the Tarkwa Nsoaim municipality of the Western region, where he led a joint delegation from his ministry and the Minerals Commission. The visit was to enable the team acquaint themselves with the operations of the company, assess their level of compliance with the mining law, learn at first hand their challenges and how they could be addressed. The Chief Operating Officer of the company, Benjamin Achukwashi, said the company intends to increase its production levels from 2 million tons to 4.8 million tons this year. John Peter Amewu expressed concern that the company has not demonstrated commitment to ensure there is a corresponding benefit to the state.
If your driving intention is just to increase production targets, production volumes, and take the resources out of this country, so long as I remain a Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, that depletion policy would not be allowed. I would not entertain it, because I want to see that to go along with increasing revenue for this country.
He expressed as negligible the level of development at Nsuta, though mining of bauxite began actively in 1916.
Government for the years have lost so much, and that is why we're going from mines to make sure that the right thing is done. Corporate social responsibility, if you're really undertaking your corporate social responsibility, the road that we drive on, a distance of just about 200 meters, should not be on this state. It is unfair.
Benjamin Achukwashi assured government of its commitment to make its operations beneficial to the country.
In fact, we have a feasibility study done to come up with this road or construct a road from here to Takoradi, but it's a matter of time. We have actually set a target in terms of the Ghanaians that will be working here.
The municipal chief executive for Tarkwa Nsoaim, Gilbert Kenneth Asma, tasked the company to team up with other mining companies to give roads in the municipality a facelift.
The Forestry Commission has suspended all reclamation activities in forest reserves across the country. The move, according to the Commission, is to review and take stock of operations of private contractors engaged in the reclamation exercise. Here's a report by Benjamin Adu.
The reclamation exercise became necessary following the devastation caused with the country's forest reserves by the illegal miners. The Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie, at a meeting with the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, announced the suspension of the reclamation exercise. He observed the abuse of authorization notes and use of letters to legally mine in the forest.
Most of them have not been doing things in accordance with the letters and the contract that we have entered with them. I have consequently withdrawn all letters and all permits given to such companies.
Officials of the Forestry Commission were invited to brief the Regional House of Chiefs on the payment and sharing formula of timber royalties. Owusu-Afriyie said measures have been put in place to prevent delays in releasing timber royalties.
We had to calculate what at any given moment of time, the amount of money that we receive, and then the 25% that should come to the Nananum and for the stool, and that is precisely for them.
Per the formula of sharing royalties, district assemblies take a chunk of 55%, whilst the administrator of stool lands, the traditional stools, and the traditional councils share the rest. The Asantehene Otumfuo Sedito II said it is important for traditional authorities to question how district assemblies spend their 55% share on development. The Asantehene called for greater collaboration between traditional rulers and the state in the fight against illegal mining, popularly called galamsey. He said the government should appreciate the role of chiefs in protecting lands.
The
galamsey that has destroyed our environment is because government does not seek the consent of chiefs before awarding concessions to mining companies. It is time government, as well as parliament, sat down with us chiefs to discuss and deliberate before the permit and mining leases are given out.
The event coincided with the swearing-in of the chief of Asante Bekwai, Nana Osei Kojo Abebio, into the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs.
You're still watching News 360. Let's take a look at some of the stories yet to come.
Poor Road Network militates against efforts at speeding up development in the Nadoli-Kalio district of the Upper West region.
In sports, boxing legend Azumah Nelson honored.
Also ahead in international news, gunmen in South Africa kill 11 taxi drivers in an ambush.
Don't forget that we're live on DSTV channel 279. We'll be back with Mission after this. Do stay. Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission. It is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Now let's do some stories regarding education. And inadequate classrooms and accommodation is impacting negatively on academic work at the St. John's Integrated School in Navrongo in the Upper East region. The school, which admits both hearing and hearing impaired students, needs urgent support to accommodate both teachers and students. Bright Nana Amfo reports authorities are struggling to provide the needed infrastructure for the school.
Left, done. Done, done, eyes.
This is the school's cadet, a regular drill at night.
You, go to the classroom side. You have 3 minutes to come back. 1, 2, 3, 4.
St. John's Integrated School in Navrongo is not walled.
You have 3 minutes to come back.
Intruders are therefore many. The school's cadet has a duty to protect students.
As a special school, you can see that our school is situated in a valley and between 2 streams. And you know the nature of the world now. Intruders come in, even villagers ride in and out, unnecessary visitors at night. So we need a fence wall. Our dining hall
is one of the challenges of St. John's Integrated School. Accommodation is inadequate. Classrooms have been turned into dormitories.
As a housemaster, it has not been easy at all. I think you can even see for yourself that the place is congested. Even as we speak, during these heat hours, or let's say, this time around, this place is always hot. Students have to force to sleep outside. And they are being, attacked sometimes by reptiles. So it's actually a problem for us here.
The hot weather conditions of the north is a further burden on the students.
It is time for preps, and this is where you can find these kids studying. The rooms are very hot this time of the year, between May, June, and perhaps somewhere July. The rains have failed, and so very hot weather. They are compelled to sit outside. They can't sit in the classrooms. So preps is held under the trees here, several of them gathered here reading and perhaps getting ready for tomorrow, the next day's work. This is a situation here. Classrooms not too good, and so they are compelled to stay here. If you can see far behind me, a lot of them also sitting there simply just to read. Very soon they'll have to go to bed. But even where they go to bed, there are issues with where they're sleeping.
This is not all. Rooms are congested and hot, and so they sleep in the open at night. Though at periods when the weather is cool, they go back to their rooms. This is one of the many infrastructure challenges confronting the school.
The inside will be Francis. Yes. Yes.
Teachers do not stay on campus during the day and at night. Supervision is therefore poor. A teacher's bungalow started so many years ago still sits there. Several other infrastructure are uncompleted. This is worrying and affects academic work.
The infrastructure situation is not the best, but the little that we have, we are managing with that. I say this because if you go around the dormitories, you can see that there is congestion, and we are trying to manage it.
The school has over 700 population. Inclusive education is employed here. Both the hearing and hearing impaired get education here. But with many challenges bedeviling the school, is drawing back efforts at achieving success. The school can, however, boast of many achievements.
Volunteering are past students who picked up the language because we normally will teach a sign language class 1 period a week for all the students. By the end of the 3 years, they are able to sign. So now we have more students. I can see that for the past students who have come out, at least in the society, when they meet students with hearing impairment, they can communicate with them.
School authorities say enhancing support will improve efforts at ensuring social inclusion.
Good morning, class.
Well, let's stay in the uppermost regions of the country because poor road network is negating efforts at speeding up development in the Nadeoli-Kaoleo district of the Upper West region. Farmers are unable to go to farm due to bad roads, which get cut off during the rainy season, while school children and pregnant women have difficulty in moving due to culverts that are totally washed off. Here's a report by Bright Nana Amfo.
This is the only tarred road in the district. It links Nadoli to Jirapa and beyond. The rest are miles and miles of dusty and tarred and poor roads. Culverts, bridges and dams get flooded during heavy rains.
When the rain sets in, they are very, very immoderable, and it is causing a big challenge. On the western side of the district, it's closer to the Black Volta, and it's low, thereby causing us a lot of headaches when the rain starts.
Commuting is therefore a challenge. The district is vast and wide. This is the Assembly's headache. Economic activities are most affected.
A greater part of communities in the district lies behind this river. Several residents are forced to cross this river before they can undertake the economic activities. Now, in the month of June and July, they simply can't do it because the river gets filled up. It is just below my knee now, but very soon it will get to a level where residents cannot cross.
School children can't go to school during the rains.
A health worker even ever died there some years back, around the early 90s. And here, somebody was washed. Fortunately, he got himself entangled with some trees that fell inside there. And they had to quickly mobilize to come and remove the person.
This culvert links the district to Burkina Faso. It has caved in several times. School children who would have to cross to school are most affected. They simply cannot go. Roads around Takpo, Sankana, Kopieni and several communities are cut off during heavy rains due to culverts that cave in. The Assembly is unable to construct these culverts. The appeal is for central government to step in. The Assembly, however, confirmed some roads have been awarded on contract.
As at last year, October, it was advertised and the bids have been opened, and I'm reliably informed that it has been awarded on contract. I'm yet to get the details as to who the contractor is, and then so I can appeal to him to come to site very soon. Looking at the culverts here, if we get another heavy rain, it is going to cut this whole community off from accessing healthcare and other facilities across the other side of the district.
Our hope is to see contractors soon come on site so as to open up the area for development. Bright Nananfo, TV3.
And from the News Hub here at Adesanwe, I am Solis Rose Korte. That is all for Mission for tonight. It is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Issa Moni is standing by with more news.
Now, a survey conducted by World Vision Ghana in the Sabuba district of the Northern Region has revealed that 34% of caregivers in the district are of the view that child marriage is acceptable. This has resulted in the marrying of 3,000 girls under 18 years in the district, with over 4,000 children becoming victims of child labor. A report by Christopher Amwakon.
Child marriage is on a rise in the Sabuba district of the Northern Region, with 41% of girls under 18 as victims. According to the Assistant District Administrator of the Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Prosper Begingma, parents admit to the practice due to the financial benefits they gain, citing fierce resistance and threat from residents anytime attempts are made to address such issues.
When the case is reported to the commission, when you try to take the matter up, the people will come back and then plead. Sometimes when you send the case to the police, or maybe for them to prepare them for prosecution, they are not volunteer to what? Give evidence, because they don't have even the birth certificate or the birth dates or the ages of their children.
To curb the practice, World Vision has constituted a district child protection committee to advocate and report issues of child abuse to the police.
Leaders are equally disappointing us. They don't preach the good news to the families, they don't preach the good news to the children, and this is helping them to neglect their responsibilities as parents and children. We want you to take a promise today that in my sermon I will talk about end child marriage.
The Northern Regional Operations Manager for World Vision asked parents to support in addressing the issue which is affecting the education of their children. The 5-year campaign, dubbed It Takes a World to End Violence Against Children, is intended to contribute to the reduction in child marriage by 50% through increased advocacy and access to education by the girl child.
A deputy minister in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yankah, has blamed the falling standard of education in the Agona East and West districts of the Central Region on the upsurge in internet fraud, popularly referred to as Sakawa. Professor Yankah was speaking on the sidelines of a forum at Agona Swedru on issues affecting education in the two districts. Lucy Ayambela has come through with the following report.
When I went to one of the schools, I heard that about 80% of the boys are doing Sakawa within the Aguna area. I was flabbergasted.
which means that they are much more interested in how quickly can I get money.
Available reports indicate that the Aguna East District and West Municipality have been performing poorly in the Basic Education Certificate Examination.
2014, Aguna West out of 182, Aguna West was 130, Aguna is 159. 2015, out of 250, Aguna West was 127.
He noted that Aguna State cannot be taken away from the history of education, as the first national school in the country was established in Aguna Driakwa. He also mentioned some prominent personalities in politics and other sectors who hail from the area.
The president of Ghana Institution of Engineers, the president of Ghana Pharmaceutical Association, Professor Kosipochi,
Professor Kwesi Nyanka lamented that it is rather sad that the name Aguna is now associated with internet fraud and other social vices. The Aguna West Education Director, Elizabeth Helen Issel, said there have been many cases of truancy, absenteeism, early pregnancies and dropout from school among students over the years, but her outfit, together with a stakeholder committee, is making frantic efforts to address these challenges.
Rarely did pupils in Aguna West had admission to any of the well-endowed schools. In a fortunate situation where a few had opportunities to gain admission to such schools, the pupils were usually products of private schools and extremely hard-working pupils in the public schools.
Other speakers, including the Chief of Aguna Swedro, Nana Kobna Boche, Municipal Chief Executive for Aguna West, Justina Marigold Asan, District Chief Executive for Aguna East, Dennis Ama Frimpong, Joe Apia, the chairman for the event, and the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor George Odru, who all hail from Agunaman, took turns to address the gathering about their life experiences. The Minister in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Nyanka, tasked the major stakeholders in the municipality to draw up an action plan to improve the standard of education in the area.
Watching News 360, and when we return, we'll have a date with the man who knows sports. Thierry Nya, stay with us. Now, reggae and dancehall act Stonebwoy continues to shine on the international stage. He was at the Reggae Sam Fest in Jamaica after great performance at Miami in the US and at the One Africa concert at UK's O2 Arena.
Tomorrow Hitmaker once again mounted the stage for this year's Reggae Sam Fest, which was held at the Montego Bay in Jamaica. This year marks the 26th anniversary of the Reggae Sam Fest, which promotes reggae music. As the only Ghanaian artist on the bill, the hero artist made Ghana and Africa proud on the stage with his energetic performance.
I'm so deep and never. I come to play with friends and them. Everybody, if I die today, if I die today, I'm a hero.
Stonebwoy has signed up to the Universal Music Group, making him the second Ghanaian-based artist after singer and songwriter Sina Soul to be signed by the company.
A long time, man, a bragga. When me name 50,000 man gather. Go on, come cut it with a shot that I with some man confess the real gather. I got it, I do the apple, but I get
From reggae dancehall, let's do some gospel music. And it's been very difficult for the gospel artists in Ghana to make their songs acceptable worldwide. Canadian-based gospel singer Abigail Coleman is set to take Ghana gospel to the world as she releases her new single, Tumi Mekra.
Abigail Coleman is very proud about how she is taking Ghanaian gospel music to the world, although she sings in her local dialect. The singer believes that there are so many promoters out there who can help her promote her song, but the most important thing is to start from home. Abigail Coleman urges Ghanaians to pay attention to gospel music and also support them. In an interview with Justice Mensah on TV3's Talent Saturday, the singer disclosed how African music are being loved by the Western world.
Canada is just like in the US. When it comes to gospel, people love it. People want something different, you know. People are starting to, like Canadians and, you know, the Western world, they're beginning to love African music. They're beginning to love our style of music. We have the talent to make Ghana, you know, shine like Nigeria or the US. Or we have incredible talent and they need support.
Right, Abigail Coleman, diva in the making, I should say.
Yes, taking Ghanaian gospel music to the world. That's it for News 360. I am Solis Rose Quarty.
I'm Asa Mooney. More updates on 3news.com. Enjoy your evening.